What's up, guys? Welcome to the Mississippi Real Estate Podcast, hosted by Ryan Watson.
And I'm Trip Spruill. It's all about real life, real talk, and real estate.
Join us as we dive into the stories, trends, and insider tips shaping the world of Mississippi real estate.
Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or just curious about the market, we've got all the insights you need to navigate with confidence. So if y'all are ready, let's get real.
Hey, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Mississippi Real Estate Podcast. We have a super special guest today, a good friend of mine, too. His name is Randy Inman, and he is with Epic Realty Garland Group. And so glad to have you today on the show.
Yeah.
And excited to learn your story and learn some new things. I know you do some things that are unique to real estate, and we're going to learn about those, too. And so really excited about it.
Yeah, man.
What you think, Trip?
I appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Spending time with us.
Well, I see, y'all are doing some real good things, as far as, real estate is concerned with your podcast now. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. I'm nervous to be on camera.
No, don't be nervous. Yeah, I used
No,
to be. I still get nervous before these podcasts, too.
No, we're just hanging out and having some good
Well,
conversation.
we're excited to have you because you've been in the business for a while, and we're gonna pull off that wisdom
How
today.
long have you been in real estate? Do we want to give your age out there?
This December will be 39.
That's what I'm talking
39
about.
years.
Almost 40.
If we can't learn something from you today,
Yeah.
there's something wrong.
I don't even care if it's just good stories or
That's
war
right.
stories.
That's right.
I got a few.
I bet you do. All right. Well, I guess before we
I'm
get into
excited,
Mr. Randy, you want to go ahead and tell
Yeah,
them your
well-
news?
Yeah. So, everybody listening here, I am now, and I think this makes what we're doing. I'll go ahead and preface by saying this. I think this makes what we're doing extra special. So I am now no longer with Weichert. I'm with Hopper Properties. And so what's really cool is that now me and Tripp are being at two different brokers. We got two different perspectives on the real estate market, and so it's really cool. And to get into that just a little bit, felt like the Lord was leading me to go to Hopper, and so I made the move, and I'm excited to be there, and excited to continue the podcast. And it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, and I'm excited for you too. But to answer a lot of questions that's already been out there, yes, we're going to continue with the podcast.
That's right. That's right.
Podcast ain't going away.
Yep.
So anyway, we'll just have a lot more information to pull from and get out there. And plus, the whole point of this podcast, and you probably heard it if you watched some of ours, is we want to build that real estate community.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we can kind of, maybe not. I hate to say not play so nice in the sandbox, but we all have a common goal, and we want to learn about other realtors, and we want to learn about closing attorneys and inspections. We've had everybody who wants to, who touches our industry, we want to have at this table. And so we're happy to have you here too.
I appreciate
and going
the
to Hopper
invitation.
means Mississippi Real Estate doesn't go anywhere.
I mean, this is our motto. Our motto that we say is real life, real talk, real estate.
That's right.
This is real life. We move and transfer licenses from time to time, and that doesn't stop the Mississippi Real Estate Podcast. We keep on moving and trucking along. So.
That's right. But enough about us.
Yeah, enough about us, man.
Let's get over here to Mr. Randy. Randy, why don't you tell us about who is Randy Inman?
Where you from?
Native Mississippian, born in the Delta, raised there, a little town called Drew.
Yeah.
And got out of high school early, went off to college.
Where'd you go to college?
Well, several different places.
Okay, great.
No,
I know where you're going with it.
Yeah.
By getting out early, I started at Delta State and was there. Well, it wasn't a fighting okra back then. That came a little later after my time.
Was Statesman?
Yeah, the Statesman. And went 3 semesters, and then I transferred up to Mississippi State.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see.
That's all right. I got my Ole Miss fixed last week.
I also went to that school.
Oh, there we go. Hey, there we go.
If you just listen, I got a Mississippi State shirt on today. I texted Tripp this morning. I said, I got a surprise for you today.
That's no surprise.
So one was before the Navy and one was after the Navy.
Oh, okay. You served a country then.
I spent 6 years in the Navy.
Well, thank you for your service.
Appreciate that.
Served on board nuclear submarines.
Oh, wow.
Made 9 North Atlantic patrols during that period of time.
We may have 2 podcasts on this one.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
That's
very cool.
It was really good duty. 127 guys, and you're out there together for 90 to 130 days under the water. You kind of get to know each other pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
you count on everybody.
On a submarine, so I learned real quick, the USS Alabama in Mobile that you can go on and just look around, and there's a submarine over there too. I learned really quick. I went down in the hull of the USS, that battleship, and I got claustrophobic really quick.
Oh, I can't imagine.
So you can't be claustrophobic and be one of those. I mean, I guess that kind of weeds itself out before you ever go on tour if you can be in a submarine or not.
Well, what it is that the only difference being on the surface and under the water is the hatch is closed.
If you say so.
Because once you're down inside, just like you were on the ship, you were down inside the guts of it and everything.
Yeah.
You're inside.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It just felt like tight when you get to the bottom of that battleship. Yeah. So I think that's where it was for me, just feeling
that would be.
I got to do all kinds of neat things,
What was your...
I flew the boat.
Did they have one of those things where if you're on the surface, you can like look through the telescope thing and like look around? Did you ever get to do anything like that?
What they call that periscope liberty, and it's when you're underwater. If we surface for some reason to stick the scope out, you could request it, and you'd get up there. All you see is water. Although I did get to see the coast of Iceland one time.
Oh, that's
kind of cool.
So you actually navigated.
That's my favorite part.
The submarine.
No, I when you say fly the boat, when you're underwater, you got your planes that you work with. So the first thing I qualified on was to be able to steer it and do all that from your commands and that sort of thing. But I was what they call a machinist mate.
Okay.
We handled all the pumps, valves, heat, air conditioning, water
Which is very
stills, oxygen generators, all the
very important
different equipment, to keep it going.
Sure.
That is amazing.
That's incredible.
That's credible history. I mean, you've had a lot of life experiences with that. I don't think I've ever even talked to. I've got several friends and people in the past that have served our armed forces, but I don't think I've ever met somebody who's actually been on a submarine. So that's cool for me.
Very incredible.
Yeah, real good duty. Yeah. After that, after the Navy, I worked Ingalls. I worked offshore for a couple of years, and then that's when I decided to go back to school. Intended to go back to Mississippi State, but I went to Ole Miss for a while.
The better school choice kind of.
I changed colors.
So you're today still an Ole Miss Rebel.
I'm an Ole Miss Rebel.
I'll
pull for State only when they play us.
After last weekend, I have really been thinking about.
I should have brought you an Ole Miss shirt today.
You should have. I'm still a State fan. I got to hang in there.
You got to say,
my wife is a State fan.
And, they're still playing good.
They are.
Look, technically, you got you another Ole Miss fan today, bro.
Actually, he's given love to a lot of state schools. So hey, look, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We watch all Mississippi teams.
Yeah. So what did you go?
Proud.
Yeah. So what did you go to? What did you get your degree in finally at the University of Mississippi?
Business.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So after that, where did you start in the business world?
Oh, as far as getting into real estate.
How did you?
Fast forward. Had gotten a job with Brown and Root Construction Company back overseas, and my job wasn't going to start for about 6 months. So I came down to a little Pearl and some friends that I knew, and they were into real estate.
Yeah.
And so I painted houses, moved people to make a little extra money instead of spending money all the time. And the broker, Johnny Jolly, I don't know if y'all remember that. It's an old name, y'all.
I don't remember that.
He said, go to the coast, take the classes, get your license as long as you're here. I'm like, sure, I'll do that. Well, I got my license. One Friday afternoon, I'm the only person at the office, which later on I found out to be mostly true all the time.
That's true. That's probably still true today.
Yeah.
And these people drove up. I won't ever forget it. They came in and sat them down in front of this huge desk, and I opened up the book. We had a book back then. We didn't have electronic computers and stuff.
The MLS book.
MLS wasn't even computerized yet. And I opened up the book and I said, okay, what are y'all looking for? And they said, well, we'd like to have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And I closed the book. I said, okay, let's go. That's exactly how I still remember that,
Wow.
And so we found them what you call a no qualifying assumption. And it was a 2-week turnaround for the closing.
Wow.
And broker handed me a check. And I looked at it and I'm like,
This is what I want to do.
You know, I might like this
That's
business.
not a bad business to be.
So I called my dad.
You just never know when you're going to get another one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I called my dad and I said, "Hey, Dad, I don't know that I'm going to take that job. I'm just going to stay and I'm going to get into real estate." Now, interest rates at the time were 17%.
Let's go.
Golly.
17%.
Wow.
Jeez.
Y'all think
And my
this
dad
is
said-
bad right now.
I know.
My
But
dad
how
said,
much was the? Go ahead.
My dad says, "Are you drinking?" I said, "No, but maybe I need to start."
Well, this
He
business,
goes, "Son, have you thought this out?" I said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I really have. I've, been led to do this. I feel like this is where, Lord wants me to be, what He wants me to do." And so here I am, 39 years later.
it worked out.
It worked out.
What were the houses going for with the 17%? Because that's where we always hit.
Yeah.
We had the real big turn. We'll probably never see. I don't think we'll ever see 2s and 3s again. And but people always say, well, yeah, the interest rates are lower, but the price of the house is higher. And because people talk about, well, back then, like when my parents,
Right.
13, like you said, all the way up to 17%. So
Yeah.
what were the
Cost of living was lower.
Sure, but I mean, I think it's all relative. I think it still even works out if you were to look at it. So
Well, you had to find ways to get people financed.
yeah,
So with the interest rates being so high, they had back in the day loans called 235 subsidy or 265 subsidy, which was based on what their income is this is what your payment's going to be. Even though the interest rate was so much, that's what your payment, that's what you could qualify for. That's what the payment's going to be, regardless of what the 17% did to the purchase price.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's your payment. Now, as your income increased, so did that payment increase. And if someone was single and got married, now you got 2 incomes in the home, sometimes they would go from paying $500 a month to $1,100 a month, just like that.
Yeah.
So eventually, people refinance. But then there was another one called a 221 D2, and you couldn't sell it for any more than $38,650.
$38,650.
Wow. How do you remember those numbers? That's incredible. 38, or what'd you say?
$38,650.
38,650.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you run numbers, you have to sell a lot of those to make what you could off one house. I guess now in today's market.
I had to stop him earlier. He was telling me about the different locking tools that they had. He said he's got some of the very first ones.
Yeah, I do.
And he's got them. What'd you say? Gradually up to.
Yeah, and I should have brought them.
So you could
a little show and tell.
So show and tell.
Yeah, what were they? So what was?
Well, it was just the Coke machine key.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the way they were. VA and HUD.
Isn't that crazy?
It was a HUD key. It looked I still got one. Still got the box. Then it graduated to a combination box with this long etched key that you had to slide in.
Yep.
And once you did that, then you had to pop it to get the tray to pop open. And as I was saying earlier, you better have a flathead screwdriver because then things rust shut. You got to pop it open.
We're breaking into our own houses.
Yes. Yes. Of course, combo boxes have been around for a while. Then it went to the first key bob, reset key. And you better reset that key every 24 hours. Or you had to call to get a special reset. And
every 24 hours?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Had to renew it every 24 hours.
That's incredible.
And then, of course, we've graduated up to
the digital age has taken over. And
I still see a lot of combos, though, out there, even with the super boxes are expensive.
When you're dealing with REOs, real estate-owned properties, foreclosures and things like that, you're going to see combo boxes on because that's what all the field service managers use. And the same thing that I use, with the HUDs and stuff like that.
I want to get into that too. Tell us about, that's kind of your specialty. I know you do a lot of things in real estate and you still have your sphere of influence and things. We were talking about that. But tell us a little bit about HUD and how HUD works. I know you do some things with HUD.
Well, of course, what a HUD property is an FHA loan that wasn't paid for.
If we got listeners that don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't pay for it. Could be devastation in the family, loss of income, whatever the reason, they weren't able to pay for it. So every FHA loan has mortgage insurance on it. Now, that's for, I call it legal extortion. We
Legal
ought to
extortion.
delete that.
Real life, real talk right here. Real talk.
You're borrowing money at a reduced down payment, and so the government says we'll back this for the mortgage company taking the liability.
Yep.
So if they don't pay, mortgage company forecloses. If it doesn't sell at the courthouse step, then it goes back and they enact a mortgage insurance, and then it becomes a HUD for sale property.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what a HUD is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a great thing. HUD pays 3% selling commission, so you know what the commission is. You know what the price is. And for owner occupants, they'll pay up to 3% of the bid amount that was accepted. So you know how much they'll take, you know how much in closing costs they'll pay, and you get paid your commission without having to negotiate it with your buyer.
Oh.
Yeah,
unless
so
you want to get paid more.
it just takes all that. So it takes all that negotiating out. I mean,
Yeah, pretty
That's incredible.
much. And so,
I like some of the negotiating sometimes. I think that's the fun part on some, not to take away from what you're doing, but sometimes I like to try to get my people more, you know.
well,
like
you do that.
like
you do that
won.
in
Like
your
you
bid
won.
process. So if you you can bid on one, and the worst thing they're either going to accept it, which is what you want, okay,
Sure.
or they're going to counter on it as to what they will take,
Mhm.
or they may not even respond if you're too far away.
Mm.
You know, if somebody's trying to just really grab one and pull it away, but you never know
Yeah.
what they will accept. It's
Wow.
It's kind of a different thing. And with HUD in Mississippi, 6A region, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, if someone purchases a HUD for sale property and they're using FHA lending to do that,
Mhm.
there's an opportunity for just $100 down payment.
Oh wow.
And it's not income limited. Like USDA,
Yeah.
you can't make so much
That's cool.
to be able to get that loan.
Yeah.
Okay. You can make $1 million a year and still buy, as long as you go FHA lending and buy a HUD home for $100 down.
$100 down.
Wow.
Wow.
Of course, now, the RESPA rule changed where that mortgage insurance, you used to be able to get some of it back.
Mhm.
No, it stays on there for the life of the loan.
The mortgage insurance.
Yes, even if you bought a $200,000 home,
Yeah.
you pay mortgage insurance on a $200,000 home with a reduced down payment. Now you owe $50,000 on it. You're still paying a mortgage insurance premium as though when you first bought it.
If you're still at home, though, is there a way you can get out of it? I mean, is there any way you could
Refinance.
refinance it?
That's the pay it off or refinance.
So go FHA
because it stays there for the life of the loan.
Gotcha.
Mm.
That's
It used to be that you could get a
That's
refund back
Yeah. So just refinancing a conventional or
to a conventional or something like
Yeah.
that.
now, how did you? Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get into? That's where your niche is. Like, what like light bulb came on for you to were like, you know what?
There's a book I recommend.
Okay. Plug it.
I wished
Yeah.
I'd had it with me. I should have brought it.
I had to stop him on this one too.
It's called Who Moved My Cheese?
Mm.
Got by a guy named Spencer Johnson. It's
Okay.
about a 45-minute to an hour read.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it's a short book.
yeah, and there's two characters in it. There's Sniff and Scurry. There's a third character to the book. I named him Scratch.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reader.
Mm-hmm.
So if you read about Sniff and Scurry, and what it talks about is that Sniff and Scurry does like everybody else, they feed on the cheese block
Mm-hmm.
that everybody else is feeding on.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually that cheese block is going to diminish. So, Sniff and Scurry are the ones who go and look for cheese in other places by diversifying themselves. Granted, you're doing your core residential real estate right here, but there's other opportunities out here.
Yep.
And don't just stay right here, because eventually the cheese is going to run out.
Cheese runs out.
Or there's just going to be a little bit for everybody who's feeding on it.
Sure.
I feel like that cheese is running out right now.
So as you read through it and everything, the main thing I want people to
small
understand
morsel
is
of
that
cheese left.
you're the third character.
Scratch.
You're Scratch. So you asked me, how did I diversify? Me and my dad were business partners for 15 years. We had rental property. We flipped property. I got involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that to any and all realtors: diversify yourself into the opportunities that are out there.
Yes,
I agree.
And they're numerous. It just depends on how you want to go about it.
Sure.
Flipping houses, I was very fortunate. After my first one was a debacle.
Yeah,
because
same.
I hired independent contractors, didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Wound up doing the work myself because that's what I did when I first got into real estate. Is I bought and sold 4 houses and I remodeled them myself. I didn't do roofing. I don't do roofing anymore. But I would do all the electrical, the plumbing, the heat and air.
You were doing a lot of the sweat equity.
Yeah, I was doing that. So the thing that I found was that I found me a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So then I could go take him to the house. You know where my stuff, my accounts are. You know what I want done. How much? 30 days. I want a key in 30 days. Wow. And he would give me a value. We come to an agreement, and he gets the key. And here was the key. If he didn't hand me that key in 30 days, it cost him $100
Let's
a day.
go. Reversed it on him.
But if he finished it in 2.5, 3 weeks, I still paid him the same money.
Well, that's a good, I mean, but that's incentive.
That's incentive.
To stay in the house.
Right.
Because you know how they are. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, and it's not anything, they may have multiple jobs. That's just, I agree with that. I think that's a great, negotiating tool.
Absolutely.
If you're going to flip a house.
Yeah, I love that.
Because you get that phone call, oh, hey, where are y'all? Oh, we got this other job that we'll get it done. We'll back to you.
We'll be there in the afternoon.
Yeah. And you're like,
2 days later.
Okay, I'm on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and
I'm gonna take that little nugget and just right back here in the back. Remember that. That's
so Mr. Randy has already gone down. There's so many roads out. Oh, there's so many questions on so many different roads. He went into talking about HUD, and then he's gone into diversifying his whole real estate portfolio or his sales or how he does real estate. And then we got it. Now we got rental properties. Now we've gotten in flipping. And we had a podcast early on with Monique and Zell Kelly about landlording and rentals. And
so sweet. I love Monique.
Yeah, shout out to Monique.
Shout out to Monique right here.
and I have, me and my wife have rental properties too. Okay. And we flipped a couple. Now we flipped some and held them. That was the purpose, to flip them to hold for renting. And then we've done like some legitimate flips. And you got to have a different stomach and mindset for the flips, in my opinion. But there's some people who don't love landlording. But the point is, like you said, especially for realtors, I know Ryan's going to get there too. I tell everybody, if you're not in real estate, should have at least 2 rental properties, in my opinion. But if you're in real estate, you should have some rental properties. Yeah. Because you're in the game, you have insight.
You're right in the middle of it. You're seeing the first of everything when they come to the market, and then you're right in the middle. Why not?
Yeah. So I think that's a great way that you can. So do you continue to hold long term?
No.
Do you have any rentals?
No, I sold my rental property.
Cashed them out.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Had them for about 15 years.
How many did you get up to?
We got up to 15.
Yeah. That's a solid number.
We wanted to get to 30 because that was we had set our margin.
But when you say you were partnered with your dad?
My dad.
Okay.
Right. And we wanted to get to the point where we had 30 because we numbered it out to where we could actually have a maintenance person live in a home at no cost.
There you go.
And pay him 2 months of what the rent was. And then the rest of it just came to us. And of course, you got ways of working out your taxes and things like that on your income versus your outflow on maintenance and depreciation, that sort of thing.
See, I love that so much because there are different ways to make money in real estate, but I've told so many people who ask me about rental properties, and I'm sure you got asked too, the one thing I love about rental properties, investing in real estate, is it can work differently for me than what it can work for you. Your numbers may different than I know.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And you may want to have 30 where we may just want to have 5.
Sure.
Manage it yourself. Our thought back then was to get to the point to where it was self-sustaining.
Self-sustaining, yep. Yeah. And so I would say that Tracy and I, we don't really have, that's my wife, we don't really have, our plan is just right now is just try to keep accruing them. We also are partnered in with her sister and her brother-in-law on some houses, and so we're trying to build that one as well. But those two look different. Those 2 LLCs look different than what me and Tracy are doing on our own with them, Yeah. And so I think, people it always seems like the magic number for rentals is 10. And and if you ask people why, it's like, well, they assume 10 houses, 100,000, $1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tell people now, I'm like, you don't have to have 10 if your magic number is $1 million.
Right.
It may just be 4.5 houses, depending on the house.
And there's something I don't know if I can
be
say
6 houses.
this,
I don't know.
Sure.
For anybody who's thinking about rental, there's the 4F rule.
Yeah.
You don't rent to friends,
Nope.
family,
Yes.
or anyone you're familiar with,
Yep.
or you're the 4th F every time.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
It'd be like favorite niece and nephew, they can't pay, lost his job. You got to kick them out of your rental house, and 2 weeks later, you're going to go to the family reunion.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't sit well.
Yeah,
so
there
if
needs
you
to be,
avoid that in the very beginning, because you got to make its business.
Yeah.
I have a soft heart. I've let people stay in a property and not pay.
I have to.
Oh, I've done it. I've done it.
Or you get lenient on your late, if you're late. But
that's okay.
Tell me, okay, you told me, and then you paid it that one time. Like Tracy and I, we've done the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have those, but you have to create those boundaries, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just listening in here because I don't have any, but I mean, I assume if you're a human and you have a heart, I mean, you just can't help but do that.
Yeah, but
at the same time, you're running a business.
But what happens is
you
give an inch, they take a mile or 10 miles. You know what I mean? So, and you've been there, and you probably adjusted the way you did that afterwards. I mean, you say the 4Fs because you probably were there at one point.
I've been there.
Yeah,
been there.
And the one thing that I would say, this isn't a part of the 4Fs. I agree with that. But if you're in rental properties, we get called a couple times a month. Hey, you got a rental? Hey, you got a rental? And then you'll have a friend say, I got this person. They're going through it. They're great. And you want to take that referral. And then I had a mentor of mine say, you'd never buy a house for a would-be tenant.
Right.
Like if you don't have the space for them, don't go out there and try to buy a house because then they're gone or it doesn't work out. Now you got a house you got
to figure out what to do with.
Anyway, so there's all kind of little rules, but it's a great way to have additional
residual income.
Yeah. And different ways of investing. But as a realtor, it just makes sense, especially when time, you know what I mean? Like it can be really good.
It used to be that when you bought one, you wanted it to pay you back out anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
That changed to 7.
Yeah.
Now it's changed to 10.
Yeah.
If you can get repaid, have a little bit of income, but don't expect it for 10 years for it to be a windfall.
It literally is a long-term investment.
It used to be short-term. Like I said, 3 to 5 years was your margin, so you looked at it. Right. No, that's a good buy.
Yeah.
If it was longer than that, no, leave it alone.
But
because of the values.
Right.
Yes.
But of course, rental has gone skyrocketed.
The way I look at it,
double what I was charging.
Yeah.
I mean, I was getting $800 to $1,000 a house. Now it's $1,500 to $1,800.
How much did you say now when you were
$800 to $1,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
now,
1,000 was.
You thought you were.
It better be pristine.
Yeah. And now people are. I mean, there's folks in Madison charging close to 3, or even higher than that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it is crazy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, it's a way to build long-term wealth. That's wealth for later.
Yep.
Is the way I look at that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're not going to get anything quick from it if you do it right, but you're building long-term wealth.
I would say the people that I have.
You can, but.
I would say, just like Randy said, the people. I would say now, because of the way everything has changed, prices and rents and everything, the people that I run into that say, I had rentals, I'll never do that again. I learned in conversation, they had it, but they were drawing from it really early. Mm-hmm. And so the new bass boat looked good and the new, and I think if you're disciplined and you want to draw a little bit early, that's fine. That's right. But it's better if you can set up those I guess accounts and whatever, and just let that work that business as a business until you get in a better financial position. Because what happens is a roof's going to happen, HVAC is going to happen, and if you can't pay that, then you're upside down, or you're in trouble in your house, and then you lose a tenant, because you can't fix the property, and it's just a bad downward spiral, I would say.
It is.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with it. You know what I mean? You see on social media flipping houses and rentals are just a really good way to make a lot of wealth and a lot of income quick. But what they don't show you is it's actually a long-term process.
Well, and you budget yourself out. You're right, long-term process. You budget yourself out until you get to that point of windfall. That's what I called it.
Yeah.
When you were paid out, don't have to pay anything else for it. You're done. Now you're collecting. That's your windfall. So, but you've got to accept have it to where you are collecting an income, but that income goes toward repairs. You don't pull it, just like you're talking about. People pulled early. They didn't save it back.
Gotta have reserves.
Then they had a little issue here. I say a little air conditioning unit. I mean, $3,000-$4,000. Yeah,
that'll hurt you, man.
Oh my gosh! Especially if you're only collecting maybe 10%.
Yeah.
Whatever you established in the beginning.
And then you'll have a tenant move out, and you got to flip the thing back over.
Yeah.
You got to go back in there and paint. You better have, you got to get it ready again. I love it. I could stay on rentals all day. I wish I could. The harder
part. Good information.
Yeah,
it
was so
and getting into it.
Yeah.
And see, with HUD, you can purchase HUDs as an investor. When a HUD property first hits the market, it's for owner occupants, nonprofit, government agencies only. Okay, because the government wants them to be an owner occupant.
Right.
They're taxpayers.
Sure.
Income tax,
contributing to the
sales tax,
right.
Property tax. Just think of they're stable. They're no longer transient.
Sure.
But for investors, HUD pays no closing costs, and what you see is what you get. It is strictly as is. You put a bid in, get it accepted, do an inspection. You found an insecurity about it, and HUD goes, okay, well, you can still buy it at the same price the way it is, or you can ask to cancel the contract, and we'll keep your earnest money.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll keep your couple grand and put down on it. Would you say there's a misconception about the type of house that is a HUD versus, you know what I mean? Like the stereotype you think, they're not just all horrible.
No,
correct?
No, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
That is the biggest misconception that everybody thinks they're, well, the person who didn't pay for it, it's broke.
Yeah.
It's destroyed now.
Which probably keeps a lot of agents away from it.
That people who can't pay for their home aren't going to pay to keep it up, so they deteriorate.
Sure.
Maintenance is not being done to them, and some people tear up their homes, for lack of a better way to say it.
You get mad at it.
But they're
Yep.
And but it's for like example, I got one closing out Monday that's on 28 acres.
Oh man.
3,300 square feet, 2-story, 5-bedroom, 4-bath.
See, and I don't think
it's move-in ready.
I don't think people relate that to a HUD property. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Right. And this one was priced over 400. So you're not all looking at these 50 and 60 and different things like that. There are people who have taken care of the home through unfortunate sort of circumstances, weren't able to pay for it, so the foreclosure happens, and they didn't tear it up. I've walked into some that are just immaculate, and I walked into others that need to change clothes when I came out.
We've all been in those.
I need a shower right now.
We've all been in those houses, man. And that is, I mean, some, like you said, some of that is just life happened.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be. How did you maybe I missed it earlier, but how do you get plugged into that? Is there like do you go in?
Well, the way I did it is, of course, I sold them to start with. That was back in the days of blue ink, triplicate copy, sign on the back, throw your slot, by 9 o'clock in the morning, you had to be at the federal building to slide that bid in.
Oh, you were doing like, okay, yeah. So
that was when I was, selling it. Yeah. Well, we became a local listing broker. So I do broker price opinions. I do marketing photos. I do all the just listed. I do the sign work. The list goes on and on and on and on. I'm tasked. I'm time tasked. Like when I leave here, I got to go to Rosedale. It's a 1900 built home. Wow. Very nice. But in Rosedale, it's probably only going to be like around 125.
Yeah.
Wow. That sort of thing. So in selling HUDs, I was very familiar with it. Well, Lee Garland became the local listing broker, and I worked in his office at the time.
Well-known name.
And,
I mean, he's been in real estate for just a little bit.
Just a little while. Well, when he opened Remax, his first franchise, I was already at a Remax franchise. And so, but I walked in and talked to him, and he handed me the office procedures. I said, okay, I'll be back. So I came back the next day and I said, there's a couple of things I want to talk about right here. He goes, did you read that?
Well, yeah.
You actually read that? I'm like, well, yeah.
Who actually reads these?
So me and one other person named Sue Humphreys, it was the only ones he said ever read it. Everybody else just signed it and came on board.
There you go.
So he became a local listing broker, and he had a kind of an internal team put together because we were independent agents. And over the course, I started taking over the inspections, doing the reports, and it's just continued on. And we've been doing it now for 18 years.
Yeah.
Thereabout.
Wow. That's fantastic.
And I've gone through 6 asset management companies.
Wow.
Can I just plug something real quick? In the day excuse me, in the day that we live in real estate, with everything being fast paced and social media showing the
e-signatures.
Well, not so much that. I'm just saying fast paced is like, I become a realtor, I want it tomorrow. And I watch Selling Sunset and the glamorous lifestyle and whatever it may be. We just sat here and talked about investment properties, and you had your investment properties for how long?
Right at 16 years.
16 years. The man's been in the business for 39 years. And I would go out there and say that in his first year he wasn't making just whatever the misconception is.
Oh yeah.
In our real estate world today, I think, and even I'll even say in insurance, there's a misconception is like, I'll get in this, I'll just make a lot of money. It's still like a lot of other careers. You've got to get in there, find your niches, work your people. You have to earn your stripes, and it takes time. Whether you're investing in single family rentals, flips can be, yes, fast money, but if you don't know your numbers and margins and what the market's doing, you can lose a lot fast and you can get really in trouble. You got to be a little bit more risk averse, cautious with that type of stuff.
Sure.
But as a realtor, I think we all get caught up in, I had a great month, I had a great second month, and then it can get dip, and you see so many people coming in and out. I think what I'm hearing from him, and he's got wisdom beyond the years of what we have.
Sure.
Is the man's been in it for like a normal career. Somebody's 8 to 5, 40 years, and he's very successful in it, but you still have to put your time in.
Oh yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah. I still knock doors.
Yeah.
Wow. That's yeah.
I will say I don't do that.
I knock doors.
I am guilty of not doing that.
I started it way early on back in the day.
But you learn. That's how.
Yeah. But I learned, and so I got asked the other day.
Man's got 2 phones.
Ryan this. I got asked the other day, what's the most productive thing that you have?
Yeah.
And I picked this up.
Yes.
I said, this right here. This is the most productive thing there is. When cell phones came out, oh my goodness, that changed real estate. You no longer had to carry a roll of quarters around and stop at the payphone while your clients are sitting in the car.
Wait for the book to get there.
Oh, waiting for the book to get there and that sort of thing. So it's
Can
a
you
little,
imagine?
it's more,
No.
it's quicker that way that you get your information.
Yeah.
But there's still things you've got to do.
Yeah.
There's no perfect daily schedule. People say there is.
I agree.
Schedule, but there's a routine that is perfect. And routine, I use the letters reaching objectives using time increments necessary every day. That's your routine. You got to get into a routine. And when somebody says, oh yeah, well, I'm working from home, first question I ask them, have you showered and you dressed? Oh, I'm sitting around in my togs. You're not at work.
Yeah.
You're attempting to work, and you may be doing some tasks.
Yep.
But you're not at work.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you get that phone call. Oh, I'm in from town. I used to live here, and I know this house. I grew up across the street from it, and I see it's for sale, and I've only got about 20 minutes.
You can't go there yet if you haven't.
You got to take some 20 minutes to get ready.
I got to get a shower. I got to.
But otherwise,
they're going to
you're
call
ready.
somebody else.
So don't, I've always said, you're not at work until you've showered, you've got yourself ready, you've done all your morning routines and things like that, get them out. Then you can address everything. So I use acronyms on all kinds of things like for your actions. It's a certain task I own now. And by taking possession of your actions, you are an active person. And active means a certain task I value every day.
Wow.
If you don't value the task that you're doing, you're either going to kind of work at it, you're going to attempt it. No, not attempt, try. Which is not good.
Yeah.
You know, or you're going to just say, well, I can put this off till later because that's not really, working for me right now. So you've got to value what you're doing. Real estate's 24/7.
Yes.
It doesn't sleep.
That's true.
We do because our bodies require it. Okay.
Yeah.
But from the time we wake up to the time we lay our head down, we are real estate. And people are watching. All of it is like that.
That's right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you say people are watching, and that's why, I mean, we, there's a few of us, but I mean, that's why we're so big on video, even though it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Video on social media has become a big deal.
Yeah.
People are scrolling, like you said, with the phone. Yeah. And
I think
they'll stop and watch.
That's going to separate the good from the not so good.
Yeah.
Is how much you're willing to be out there in front of people, because these kids today, they ain't scared of picking this up and going.
Yeah.
And doing little dances. Yeah. But you better be the next one in line behind them going.
But I will say
I'll
that.
be a real estate agent.
Yeah. But I will say, I mean, you can putting out good content's one thing, but you also then, like you said, you got to be able to be good at the business too. Behind that.
There's things.
There's so much more than
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's things I learned early on. Again, like I said, I learned to do my job the best I can, and I'm successful. But my income is dependent on the appraiser, the termite guy, the inspector,
no doubt,
the title search.
Yeah,
the attorney. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There's probably 9 extra people.
Yeah.
That if they don't do their job,
you're not getting paid.
You're not getting paid. So I made it a point to understand their job. It's like I haven't been to one in quite a while because I keep up with it all the time. But I would show up at a financial seminar, and they're like, "Well, you're a realtor. You getting into mortgaging? I just want to know what y'all have to do.
Yeah.
I want to know what's required so that you can do your job.
Yeah.
That way I can furnish that on the front end. I used to do buyer I do them now, but in a shorted version. But I used to do buyer consultations that I would show them it's not magic what a mortgage company does. This is what they're doing. And I establish what you call their purchase power. Instead of what you can afford up to, let's determine what your purchase power is.
Sure.
It may be more than what you want to afford for yourself, but again, that's your choice.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's just, that's
learning mortgages, learning about it. I'm nationally certified to do broker price opinions through the National Association of Appraisers. Had to go. I'm almost an appraiser, but I'm not there. But I mean, I've done over 1,500 BPOs over the years.
Wow.
Wow. Used to have 48 HUD listings at one time in the state that I had to inspect.
That's busy.
It was pretty busy.
That's incredible, man.
So I still, work my sphere of influence. Talking about knocking doors.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
There's an app called Land Glide.
We know about OnX is what I use.
Okay.
Glide, same stuff.
Well, it gives you the person's name and everything. So especially if I get a HUD listing, I have a rule that I knock on 20 doors, 5 on each side and 10 across the street.
Of the listing.
Around, so here's the listing.
Yeah.
I go 5 this way, 5 this way, and 10 across the street. Now, if I'm getting good results and it's not too hot, I may continue, and but that's my parameter. That's my basic rule that I'm going to do that. And when I walk up to someone, I'm looking at who owns that house. So I make it more personal when I knock on that door. Mrs. Wilson, yes. Randy Inman with Epic Realty. We've got this property going to be listed. It's coming onto the market. If you want to pick your neighbor or have someone move in, just whatever you want to say, whatever you want to say to them, and just let them know that if you know
somebody's interested.
Here's my card. I'll give them a first look opportunity.
That's cool.
Which I can open that door without it being on the market. I just can't discuss any kind of financials because I don't know it. And as long as they know that up front, they understand it.
Wow.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I make that rule. And then if, for example, hey, Mrs. Wilson, I'm not Mrs. Wilson. Oh, I understand Mrs. Wilson owns this house. Yes, she does. I'm renting.
Oh.
Now, what is that? That's another opportunity to talk to someone about purchasing.
Who might be
transition out of renting into buying.
Yeah. And here lately, the thing's been about the interest rate, right?
Yeah.
If you really look at the numbers on a $200,000 house, if you go from 6 3/4 to 6 1/4, you're only saving $65 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But you're spending $1,000 a month for that apartment rent, and that's minimum, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they're going to want to wait 3-4 months for it to drop just down so they can save that, they just spent $4,000 that could have been going toward their new home.
Sure.
How's it going to take for you to make that money back up when you do save that $65 a month?
Right.
Way longer.
Way longer before you see that return.
Yep.
Yeah. So, people sitting on the fence about interest rates and that sort of thing, you got to realize interest rates drop, there's more people going to start shopping, so you have more competition.
Well, yeah, that's right.
For the same product that's sitting out there.
That's right. Yeah. That is it's a great way to look at it, but it is 100% correct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they either pay the 6 3/4% or 100%.
Yeah.
Which one do they want to pay?
You talk about when you talk about the door knocking, you took it to a whole new. Well, it's not. You didn't reinvent any wheel or anything like that. No. I've heard other people do that, but you just when I hear door knocking, I think about I picked X neighborhood and I'm just going to start. And I'm like, that's a big hurdle or hill climb. You get a listing in a neighborhood, that is very, very strategic and smart door knocking. And that I probably should add to my arsenal.
And you can do it for not just with my hut, you can do it for retail. I just got one in Pearl. I did the same thing. Yeah. And you could tell that some of the neighbors didn't know who this person was. Mr. and Ms. Netherland are fixing to sell their home. Who?
Yeah. Well, I think that's also kind of a day and age we're in now. People kind of want to be.
But the big thing about door knocking is that you've got to bring something of value. And so I am bringing them something of value. We're bringing this home onto the market. Yeah. So I just brought you some value here. Yeah. That can be passed on to your relative or friend or
somebody that's been wanting to live there that they know, maybe.
I mean,
that's a great idea. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. And so if you're gonna work a neighborhood, you got to have something of value to give to them. You can't just go and start knocking on doors, and that might work. Out of 100 doors, you might get one phone call. Yeah. Maybe. Sure.
Yeah.
But if you bring something of value to them.
That's right. Be strategic with that door knocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get finished today, I want to ask you a question. Is there a story or something that in 39 years that you remember that was just the craziest thing that has ever happened? Or I'm sure there's a lot of them, but I want to hear a crazy story about a house you sold or one you bought, a HUD foreclosure. Can you think of
He's
one?
probably got a Rolodex he's having to think through on.
I know.
I hit you with a fresh question.
Fresh question. And I'm sure some realtors have done this. You had even mentioned it. There was this time in Showcase Homes magazine that I did a word picture. In other words, I use words and symbols and stuff to spell out.
Make a picture.
To work with me. Yeah. You'll get a home. You'll move in. I had it all written out.
Yeah.
Well, this lady who's in the Army, Memphis, transferring to Jackson, and she called me up, and so we went and shopped and everything. We couldn't find anything. Well, she left, went back. She getting transferred. So, new listing hit the market. No qualifying assumption. I went and looked at it. Did have a cell phone at the time. These things were $900 a month. And I called her and I told her, I said, I'm standing in the front yard of your new home. She goes, really? I said, yeah, it's a no qualifying assumption. You've got the money. You can do this and you can move in. So we did it remotely. She called me when she got to North Jackson. I drove her to the house, and she saw it for the first time when she pulled up with her moving van because she'd already closed on it. 4 years later, she calls me back and says, I'm getting transferred again. Still had the no qualifying assumption, and I sold it a second time.
Oh, wow.
So that's
cool.
that's one.
Yeah.
He's processing.
I feel like, yeah.
Sold one because of a cord of wood.
I'm sorry, firewood?
Yeah.
Let's hear that. Let's hear that. Let's hear that.
Yeah.
All right.
Shopping with, and it was 2 doors down from me because I've sold 14 homes on my street. I've sold one of them 3 times.
Yeah.
You know, fortunately.
That's
People
good.
said, you choosing your neighbors? But we won't get into that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, you know how we always look to counter objections, right? You're always, if you get an objection,
Mirrors, yeah.
you're looking for a way to counter the objection without browbeating your client or something, you know, just a different way of looking at it. Well, he says, oh, this fireplace, that means I got to chop wood. We walked out into the backyard and there was a cord of seasoned wood. And I just went, well, you're not going to have to do it for a couple of years.
We'll just ask for this in the offer.
They bought it.
Yeah. Off of that. That was it.
That was it.
Wow.
That's what it. Now,
I'd have brought him a truckload of wood.
Here's one of the best ones. Here's one of the best ones. This is so funny. An elderly lady was taking care of a disabled grandchild. She had to have a certain price. She had to have a fenced yard and covered parking. Okay. I listed a little small house in Pearl. Everything. I'm like, oh, perfect. So I go and get her and I bring her over. Yeah, it's an old inherited house, so you know whatever is there is there, and she's walking around in it. And this is another clue: if you're ever showing a property, if you don't see them touch it, might as well leave.
Yeah.
Purposely leave a door closed so see if if they just bypass it without opening that door.
That's a good way to think about it.
I don't think I've ever kind of picked up on that telltale.
Then so she's not touching anything. It's dark. It's darker than your shirt. It's just dark in there. And she gets down the hallway and she looks into this bedroom. And on the wall were these 2 plaster fighting cocks. You know, they're plaster and they're like attacking each other. And she turns around and looks at me and goes, do these stay? Well, as far as I was concerned, absolutely those things were going to stay. And that's the reason she bought that house.
Because of the roosters?
It triggered, she remembered her mama had that on her wall. And it triggered.
What?
And everything else was perfect for her. And she wound up buying a house.
I've had some with religious things on the wall, and they're like, "Ooh, these people, that's a sign. That's a sign." You know, and I'm like, "It is a sign. That's a great sign."
Yeah, that's crazy that a statue of 2 fighting roosters,
wall hangers,
wall hangers, it was like, and this is the one.
That's what did it. You know.
Wow.
So,
so she kept those in the house for sure.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They had cobwebs on them and everything. As far as I was concerned, you know, those were absolutely awesome.
That is crazy.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I've got some other crazy stories too.
Well, I wish we had more time today. We're gonna have to wrap this thing up in just a minute, but we'll have to have you back on and we'll hear some more stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
If there's anything I know about Randy Inman, just from the short time that I've known him, is that he's got some stories.
Yeah.
He's got some great.
You know, I heard a common denominator too. He said he came back and he was a Pearl. So another Pearl.
Yeah, there you
go. Do you still live in Pearl?
I live in Pearl.
Yeah.
So, bought a house sight unseen. I still live there.
No kidding.
I did. I had sold my 4th house that I had remodeled.
Yeah.
And was getting married.
Yeah.
And had gotten married during that time because I sold it out from us on a napkin actually. My wife said, "You didn't sell the house." Well, we weren't married at the time. I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, how come you didn't tell me?" I said, "I sold it at the party."
Wrote it up on a cocktail napkin.
I did.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Guy asked me, said, "I know you're going to sell your house. How much you want?"
Like, there it
I
is.
wrote
Sign
it down, and he goes, "Okay." And he put okay and signed it. And well, of course, we had a contract later, you know.
Well, sure, yeah.
He wound up buying.
I'd have kept the napkin. Did you keep the napkin?
No.
Oh man, I'd have kept the napkin.
I don't have it. I got a lot of stuff, and that's what my wife says. You got to get rid of your stuff.
For next time when you come on, you're gonna have to bring the book.
Bring the book.
Yeah, bring the book.
If you bring a copy of it, we'll have to put it on our shelf over here somewhere.
Yeah, the locks.
Yeah, what was the book called? It was the.
It was just the MLS book.
No, the cheese book.
Oh, excuse me. Who Moved My Cheese?
Who Moved My Cheese?
Spencer Johnson.
Yeah.
Who Moved My Cheese?
Who Moved My Cheese?
I actually want to read this book. I mean, I obviously lit a fire under him, and he's
I reread it like once a year or twice, sometimes.
Especially if it's like a short read like that.
Especially when you see things changing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a perfect read for me.
It's kind of like one of those things that I learned when I got into real estate. They said, I may have been David Ostrander here that told it. Little shout out to David, but he don't ever take the same route home on your way home from work or wherever you're going. Always go a different way. Right. See what's for sale. And that kind of changes your perspective. Yeah. You know, you don't want to be an ant on the same trail every day, doing the same thing. You kind of get stuck. Go somewhere different.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's a great idea too.
I always ask this question to a lot of people when I'm working with them and everything. I ask this question: how do you describe a tree to a blind person? And the answer to that is, you take them to it. Because how do they communicate? How do they see? How do they see?
Yeah, they touch it.
By touching it. So when you're working with someone, you've got to understand how they communicate. We know how we want to communicate our knowledge and what we have and all this to someone and impart it to them.
Sure.
But how do they actually communicate so that they can receive that? So that's what you've got to understand to begin with. How am I going to communicate with this person? Not just by text and stuff like that. I'm talking about, getting information across to make sure that they have it.
Every buyer and seller is different. Every single one of them is different.
And then I always say, I'm going to go over it, and over it, and eventually you're going to say, okay, Randy, I got it. Then I'm going to go over it one more time because we're talking about a lot of money.
Yes.
And a long-term decision.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me make sure you understand.
Absolutely.
Before you sign anything.
Absolutely.
It's important because at the end, it's going to come up.
That's right.
Every time it closes.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you mentioned it. You said that you sold about 14 houses in your neighborhood. Have you? I guess I'm asking because realtors today or whatever, you hear about farming. So have you been farming your neighborhood, or is that just you getting out with the personal relationships, walking, whatever? I guess that's still
that came from farming my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I have since moved away from that. I haven't kept that going.
Yeah.
Should have. It was it was a machine that I had operating.
Yep.
And sometimes when things are going so good, you just kind of stop doing it.
The only reason I say
that's crazy.
Why do we do that?
Yeah. So the only reason I say that is because we kind of talked about that in our meeting this morning, and I've got a neighbor that is going to be looking to move in, and I've talked to him about it, and so I've got a listing in the pipeline, and I've been farming that neighborhood. Now I will self-admit that I hadn't been farming it. It's been kind of spit and sputter farming. It could be more efficient. I've got things I need to change, and I realize because most people live in a neighborhood, like that would be the first place I would recommend for any new realtor or even seasoned realtors. Like if we're not farming our neighborhoods, like we probably should be. Even if there's other realtor in there, you're going to eventually get somebody.
One of the first things I did when I farmed the neighborhood, because I was living in it, I let them know.
Yep.
I live in the neighborhood.
Yep.
I'm right here.
Right. If you have any questions, I'm right around the corner.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm that I brought something of value.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Yeah, anyway, when you said I sold 14 houses on my street, I was like, wow.
I've sold more in my neighborhood.
Right. So I was just like, and I think that's a good topic to hit, you know. I mean, and you said, you farmed it or let people know. That's just another tool you can use to, create listings or relationships or anything like that. So that's awesome.
I'll bring back the, everybody wants that magic bullet.
I don't know if there is one.
Nobody thinks about the gun that fires it.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks about the magic bullet.
Yeah.
Well, I found the magic gun.
Yeah.
I know where to find it. And next time I come, I'll bring directions.
Okay.
That's really simple.
We'll save
cliffhanger.
We'll save that for next time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Randy, for being here.
I had a blast.
Yeah, man, this was fun.
I want you to be able to plug your business and what you do. And so, is there a way that, other than a phone, obviously, that people can get in touch with you? Is there, you have a Facebook page, social media stuff?
You can, randyinman.com,
Mm-hmm.
puts you into our main website.
Okay.
And you can contact me that way. Of course, you always call me on the phone, 601-540-6497.
Yeah, yeah.
Back and forth, back and forth. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you can get me there. I'll tell y'all this is something that I know voicemail has basically gone away.
Yeah.
Not
Sure.
really, it's still there.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's something that I do every morning is one of my routines. I change my message to the current date. If you were to call my phone right now, it says, "Hello, you've reached Randy Inman with the Epic Realty, the Garland Group," and it's Tuesday, October the 28th.
Oh, wow.
You know, because how many times have you called a voicemail? This is I mean to be in real estate, and I'm going to be out of the office from July 1st to July the 10th, but I'll return calls after that, and it's October the 17th.
Yeah.
What does
That's
that
true.
tell you? How often have they checked their voicemail?
That
Yeah.
speaks volumes.
So if they're not checking it, so again, you know, first thing I say, hey, it's Tuesday, October 28th. You've reached Randy Inman with the Garland Group, Epic Realty. Leave a message, I'll call you back. And if they don't leave a message, I'm not required to call you back.
That's right.
And you may not get a phone call back from me. If you don't take the time, if I took the time to provide that for you and you don't want to leave me a message.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I used to say, I'll take action on your request. And that way they would have to say something, you know, to get me to do it.
We probably find out how serious they are about it too. It's kind of like doing an open house when it's raining.
Yeah.
Not many are gonna come, but somebody.
And then you
who's
hear
really
a lot of
serious,
people
they gonna
say,
show
"Oh,
up.
for a quicker response, text me."
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. So you didn't answer your phone, but if you text me, you're gonna fire that back on.
Right.
Yeah.
I got
But
time to
is
do
out
that,
there.
you know.
No.
But if you leave a message, now, you know, now I've done my duty. So if they say, "Well, I called you 10 times and you never call me back," did you leave a message? No. Well, that's what I asked.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic.
Yeah, because you get that number that shows up, you're going to get, and you don't leave a message. Because I'm under assumption now, because there's somebody out there that I've got a loan that's been approved for $42,000 that I can go pick up, or somebody wants to help me with my student loans, which I don't have.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not going to call that number back.
No,
You know.
no,
We don't want to help you pay off your credit card, bro. I don't have a credit
Yeah,
card.
yeah.
What are you talking about?
Appreciate it. Or hey, would you like to sell this house?
Yeah.
I get those
Oh
too.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I get those.
It's crazy.
Well, I'll take us out of
Anyway.
here.
Thank you so
again,
much for spending
yes.
time with us, Randy. This was awesome.
Thank
man.
you so much. It's been
Man,
a
it
pleasure.
just made me feel so relaxed in here. I was nervous, like I said, I was nervous as a cat before I came in here because I didn't know what kind of questions y'all were going to ask, whatever.
Oh, man,
but
Yeah. No.
but what y'all are doing is phenomenal.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Really,
that.
I mean,
Appreciate that.
and I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
Thank you so
You know,
much.
Thank you.
that's why, of course, you invited me to come on. I got real excited about
Yeah.
doing
Well,
this.
let us take us out and we'll talk about that some more.
Okay.
On the next
All right,
one.
Yeah, on the next one.
Okay.
All right. Thank y'all so much for watching this episode. I hope you learned so much today from Mr. Randy. And just, I mean, plethora of information. Thank you so much again. Y'all don't forget to subscribe and follow and all the things to keep up with what we're doing. God bless.